Hi, this is Deborah Grenard of Joyfully Living Wellness. Thanks for tuning in. This webinar is going to share with you a part of the course overview for the I Love My Guts 8-week telecourse. I want to share this with you so you can have a really good idea of what all is contained in the I Love My Guts 8-week telecourse. It's really hard to do it justice on a sales page, but this will give you a good idea, and if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. Right now we're going to start with an overview. I'm going to give you an overview of what we're going to cover over the next 8 weeks, and we'll look at how each week will be structured and give you an idea of what to expect. First, I want to talk about, most people who come to my classes express feelings of not liking their body in some way, shape, or form, either not liking the way it looks, not liking that it causes them pain and discomfort, not liking the way that they feel in their body, not feeling comfortable there, and in some cases feeling that they're just not even aware of their body. That, they walk around and they process information from the mind, and they put food into the mouth, and they walk around on their feet, but everything else in between the core of the body, they have no clue. And these are all very common situations. It's very common in the society that we live in to not really be connected with our core of our beings and what's inside and what's going on inside. So that's exactly why we're here. We want to bring some awareness and connection to the parts to the body on the physical, emotional, spiritual, and energetic levels. And I want to help you to really develop a relationship and a knowing of yourself. Deepen your knowing of yourself so that you bring your awareness to what's going on inside. You begin to connect with your own being and have an appreciation for your body and all that it does for you. You'll have a general understanding of what it needs and how you can become your best partner in your own road to wellness. Over the next 8 weeks, we're going to go through the digestive system part by part. We are going to start with, first off, how you're doing with your connection between your mind, your heart, and your belly. And we're going to work with developing a listening relationship so that your mind and your heart and your body can start to come into alignment with each other and start to live in harmony and synchronicity with each other. And so we're going to start with that connection, and then after that we're going to go through the phases of digestion, beginning with the senses of your senses of sight, smell, taste, and the functioning of the mouth. Then we'll go through the esophagus and the stomach in week 3. In week 4, we'll talk about the duodenum, the pancreas, the liver, the gallbladder. Week 5, the remainder of the small intestine, the jejunum and the ileum, along with the enteric nervous system. And then we'll move into the large intestine, and then we'll talk about the self-care for the body as a whole. And then finally, we'll wrap up with what to do for next steps for ongoing support. Now, each week, as we're moving through these parts of the digestive system, each week, if you look on this chart here, the I Love My Guts overview chart, each week has a theme, and then the physical part of the body that we'll be talking about, which I just outlined. And then we'll look at the emotions that are typically associated with that part of the body. We'll look at the deeper meaning behind the emotions and how that connects us with our own spiritual connection. And then we'll look at the phase of that digestion. I'll say more about that in a minute. So like I said, each week we'll look at the theme for the week. Like the first week, this is all about establishing self-acceptance and safety, because this is going to be the groundwork for everything that we do, really, establishing self-acceptance, safety, trust, so that you are comfortable to really go deep within your own being and create these relationships that we're talking about. So we'll talk about the theme of each week, and you see on the second column there under the theme, we start with establishing self-acceptance and safety. In week 2, we get into that stimulating the desire, the experience, and experiencing the pleasure. We'll spend a whole lesson on that, which is just fabulous. And then all the way through the digestive processes, from swallowing to churning, breaking it down, absorbing the nutrients, eliminating the waste, and more, because there's more that happens in the large intestine than just eliminating waste. And in week 7, we'll look at the relationship to the whole through your self-care, caring for yourself from a place of self-love. And then in the final week, we'll do a wrap-up, and we'll look at what are the next steps that you're needing for your ongoing support. Now, in each one of those weeks, we'll be working, as I said, with a part of the physical body. We'll be looking at your relationship to that part of your physical body. We'll be looking at if you have any kind of attitudes or blocks that keep you from having a clear and loving connection with that part of your body. I'll give a for instance. I know I'm not the only person on the planet who cringes at the thought of going to the dentist. I know that a lot of us have had trouble with teeth that have caused us discomfort and pain, maybe over an extended period of time. And we may have developed patterns of, trying to avoid that discomfort. And so we hold our mouth in a certain way or chew in a certain way to try to protect that part of ourselves. And maybe we've turned away from that part of ourselves energetically because that's a part of ourselves that causes us discomfort. I know this is a situation that I had at one time when I had a problem with one of my teeth that lasted over an extended period of time. It seems like it was forever, probably a year of dealing with a problem with this tooth that, I had to keep going back to the dentist and getting more and more work done. But anyway, I know that this is one of the places where we can, like, oh gosh, there's that part, there's that pain there. I want to try to avoid it. I want to turn my energy away from it and focus on the parts of my mouth that are going to work right for me. And, so energetically, there's a lot that happens there. There's memories that get stored. There's, the beliefs that I better avoid that part of my mouth, even avoid using it because it might hurt, even if the pain has gone away. So anyway, we just want to explore things of that nature and see how we can come into greater connection with parts of ourselves we may have disconnected from for one reason or another. So we'll be working with that on the emotional level. We'll look at various emotions that are typically stored in the different parts of the body and the organs of the digestive system as we're moving through the digestive system. And then as we're looking at the typical emotions, we'll look deeper at the deeper meaning behind the emotions and into the spiritual connection of what connects us to, and how those emotional discomforts connect us into our own spiritual connection and our own spiritual truths. We'll also be looking at the phase of the digestive process that is active, and each step along the way. The entire process of digestion is a progression. It's a process within the body that is analogous to the progression of giving and taking. And this is true on the physical, the energetic, and the spiritual levels. It's true literally and metaphorically. As we'll talk about this as we go through each week. But this cycle of giving and taking, or taking and giving, is a progression that is seen throughout nature. It's a movement, and it's actually, when we come into this physical world in this way, and actually we're in these phases even before, when we're in the womb, and we arise from a place of stillness, which is actually what you see in week 8, the completion, the stillness. But we arise from stillness. We come into this world as needy beings. We have needs for being held, for being comforted, and for being nurtured. We have to be cared for as infants when we are born into this world. And from that stillness, our neediness arises from the minute we breathe air we come into the out of the womb, and we breathe air. And as we feel our neediness, it brings us to that place on the conscious or subconscious level of observing and assessing and making choices of what is around us that can fill our needs, our neediness. And from that motivation, from that neediness, that motivates us to make a choice. And as we choose, the next step of that is reaching for what it is that we choose. And then as we reach, the next phase of that is taking it and bringing it to ourselves. And then as we receive it, take it into our bodies, we receive. The next phase of that is receiving. And once we get past a certain point in the receiving, it is accepting, allowing this in this case, the food, to have its process within us. And then there is a letting go. That is the releasing, the elimination. And with this whole process, there's the process of integration. And then that returns us to the stillness upon completion. So we're going to be working those phases in at each week into the process that we're working with, because in these phases, the cycles of give and take, you see this throughout nature, you see it throughout your life, and in spiritual teachings, you'll see this cycle of give and take as well. Each phase of this cycle must have its due in order for you to be healthy and have a relationship with yourself that is supportive of your whole being and of your whole being's relationship within the universe. So each week, again, we'll be talking about the theme, the physical level, the emotional level, the spiritual level, and the phase of the give and take cycle. And each week we're going to step then through the parts of the digestive system from beginning to end. So what you'll find on the website, each week I'll post a pre-recorded webinar that you can view or listen to on your own time. And it'll also have some guided exercises with it and some suggested questions for reflection to help you reflect on the exercise. You can do this on your own. You can have the option to do it with a partner in the class. Then when we come together as a group, we'll come together in groups of no more than 8 per group. And when we come together, this time is interactive time. It's time for you to ask any questions that you have from the exercise that you in the webinar or anything that's come to you to date so far. And we'll do group process. We'll step through really anchoring into your being, help your being to really get what you've received so far so that your body is actually living the experience of it and the cellular knowing of it rather than just the mental knowledge. So I really help you take it in, anchor it, and learn to live it. If this sounds like something that you're ready to embark on, this truly is a journey. It's an incredible journey. It's a very powerful program. I invite you to sign up. I've got another course that is going to be starting up on Monday, August 26th. It'll go for 8 weeks on Mondays from August the 26th through October the 14th. So if you're interested, please sign up now, and I look forward to working with you. If you have any questions, please email me. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks a bunch.